What a headshot! What a head!
How's it, guys? This is Dayvy, FPL, and welcome back to the Fantasy Premier League video here on my channel. Now in this video, I'm going to give you guys the first of my draft weeks. So yes, throughout this week, I'll be delivering multiple drafts to you guys, one every day, with a little bit of variation or kind of a different heading for each one. So to start off the week on an absolute banger, I'm going to be giving you my big at the back draft. Now I don't know about you guys, but this is right up my alley. I kind of have a lot of expertise in this department, but if you guys don't know about FPL, no, we're not talking about something dodgy. We're just talking about investing a lot of money in your defense. So this season, as I'll show you guys in the upcoming talking points, there's a massive amount of value in that defensive department, and FPL have kind of underpriced a lot of these premium options. So should you guys be going for these massive defenders, or should you have some more variation in your midfield and your forward departments? Well, that's going to be up to you, but I'm only showing you the one side of the spectrum with all these massive defenders. Let me know in the comments down below, are you guys going for a big at the back? It seems like most of us are going for at least 4 massive defenders in those drafts, so I want to see what defenders you guys are going for. Draft week has just increased my excitement by a whole nother dimension, and I just can't wait for the season to get underway, where hopefully we'll get another top 10k finish. With that being said, sit back, relax, and let's enjoy this big at the back. So first things first, just another shout out to my Discord channel. There's a lot of you in the channel right now, and as you guys would have seen, I'll be doing these Sunday team draft reviews where you guys post your drafts on my Discord and I roast them. Not too much roasting has been going on, as I'm sure if you watch this channel, you're probably quite well versed in FPL, so the drafts have actually been quite good, but also a little bit interesting. But don't worry, on the Discord channel, we've got loads more content there. We've got some Q&As on the voice chat. We also have members only channels, and I've also refreshed the member scheme, so you guys now have 3 categories to go for. Shout out to those of you who become members recently. You can look forward to some one-on-one chats and my own team reveals throughout the season. But enough about the Discord. I know you guys are getting sick of these announcements, but join the channel because otherwise I'm going to have to shout it out every single video. So now going on to a little bit of a throwback to the videos I created last week. If you guys did watch my pricing mistakes video, I compared the regression line, which is the average of all the players according to points last season and price this season. And as you guys can see on screen, we're going to focus on that blue regression line. The value looks absolutely sensational, not compared to the goalkeepers, but at least compared to the midfielders and the forwards. So what does this graph tell you? That there's better value in those defensive departments, and that's exactly what this draft's going to be about. Also, a little bit of a shout out here to the videos I created last week. If you guys did not check out my positional reviews, great videos that I created, so make sure you guys go check them out before you watch this draft. But now going on to the actual draft and what you guys have all been waiting for. Hopefully you did not skip to this point and missed out on important announcements, but if you did, I don't really blame you. But going on to the first department, and that's going to be the 5 at the back. As you guys can see on screen, the big at the back will not be complete with the maximum amount of defenders, and I've also gone for more premium goalkeeper. But before we talk about that, I want to let you guys know that there was 0.0 left in the bank, and that was also thanks to a more expensive bench. So why I'm saying more expensive is that the cheapest option that plays in FPL currently is going to be Neco Williams, and also 1 or 2 other 4.0 defenders. But unfortunately, if you're going for 5 at the back, these more premium defenders, you can't afford Neco Williams, and that's why you have to go for a more expensive bench by 0.5 million. But you don't have to worry about that because this team looks absolutely stacked still. On the bench, I got my 4.0 goalkeeper. You guys can simply go for anyone that you want. Would recommend a team that you won't triple up on, as that might block that triple up in the future. We then have Andreas Pereira and Longstaff. Longstaff from Newcastle, a new addition here, actually has found his way into that Eddie Howe team towards the end of last season and looks quite nailed in that midfield department. Andreas Pereira, though, you guys know about him. He's going to be playing most games for Fulham, hopefully. Then also have Dwight Gale, my favorite 4.5, but he also probably won't feature for his team. The one thing to note on the bench is I have got 2 Newcastle options and 1 spoiler alert in my starting 11, so currently we've got a triple up on Newcastle. But let's put that to the back burners first. Let's focus on our goalkeeper of choice, and I've actually gone for Edison. So a little bit of surprise there. These are more expensive goalkeepers. They have actually had their price reduced, and I just think Edison at 5.5, if you guys are going to go big at the back, he's my second goalkeeper of choice. Now my first goalkeeper of choice is going to be Allison in that big at the back department, but currently I've gone for 2 other defenders. It's a little bit of a spoiler alert there. I just think Edison at 5.5, you're getting a nailed Man City defender. They're probably odds on to get the most clean sheets this season, and that's why I think for that price, it's simply outstanding. You guys could also go for a Mendy, but I could afford Edison, so I prefer Man City over Chelsea, just with some speculation about their defense. But with the new signing of Koulibaly, they look like they're going to be quite strong. Now moving on to our integral part of this big at the back draft, it's going to be the back 5, and the first player is going to be a no-brainer there. It's going to be Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you guys are talking about premium defenders, Trent is absolutely up there at the top, miles clear of anyone else. Attacking threat, defensive threat. I just hope that Liverpool have another good season. Trent does have some competition, not really competition, but he does have a backup now of Calvin Ramsey. I'm pretty sure the youngster won't get any minutes this season, but I am still considering all the options. Accompanying Trent is going to be his colleague Robertson. These two get on really well in real life and hopefully they get me the points in FPL. I just think the double up of Robertson and Trent are absolutely massive in a big at the back formation. Now this is where one of those changes could come about. You guys could also obviously go for an Alisson. Will I ever talk about some changes after we talk about all the defenders? Next up is going to be Cancelo, a no-brainer here yet again at 7.0 million, accompanying his colleague Edison in that back line. I just think his price is good this season, great value for money, and Cancelo is going to be a shoo-in as long as he starts most games. Now going on to our last two defenders, and you probably have guessed them. The first one's going to be Reece James. Now you guys could go for Chilwell or Reece James, whoever you kind of want to. Chilwell has the slightly better points per game metric, but just remember that he only kind of had 50 points last season, so didn't start many games after picking up that long-term injury. Now the thing about James and Chilwell is that there's been rumors of a potential 4 at the back. Now whether Koulibaly slots into that 4 or that 5 is yet to be seen, so make sure you guys check out Chelsea's preseason to get some more news. The last defender though, you're definitely going to be wanting to watch some preseason because he did not feature in that K-League game for Spurs. Apparently he's not been training as he has an injury from Inter Milan, and that's going to be Perisic. At 5.5 million, if he does start most games under Conte, great value for money. Yes, there have been some concerns about whether he's going to play a full 60 minutes, or whether he's actually going to start for Spurs, but I just think he's worth the risk at that price point. But as I said, just make sure that he's fit for game week 1, as Conte apparently has a very hectic preseason schedule in training. But now let's talk about some rotation that you guys could potentially do. I've spoke about Robertson. You could potentially go for Alisson in the goalkeeper department, and then you'll have some more money to spend in the midfield and the forward departments. But right now, on paper, this is the best big at the back defense to go for. You guys can argue with me in the comments down below. Do you think another option should be should I maybe have included Mendy or Chilwell, or do you think Cancelo's not worth his price tag? Let me know in the comments and we can have a discussion. But now that you spent all this money in the defensive department, what does the rest of the team look like? Well, don't worry. For me, it still looks outstanding, and I think you guys would also agree. Let's start off with the elephant in the room. Don't worry, you guys will still have Mo Salah in that midfield department. I'm not going to be going without the best FPL option in this draft, and I think you guys will definitely be captaining in most game weeks. What's nice to see is that you guys can still afford these premium assets with a big at the back formation, which just shows you the massive value that these defenders do have. Nothing much to say about Salah. Going to be in all of my drafts probably this week, except for maybe one coming up later this week. We're now going to move on to the last two midfielders, and if you guys did watch my updated draft video, I've currently got a lot of love for Bruno from Newcastle at that 6.0 million price tag. I've already discussed Martinelli, Smith Rowe, potential rotation risks there. We have some other options at that 6.0 price point, but I just think with his opening 2 fixtures for Newcastle, you can get Bruno and then always transfer him out game week 3. A player that you won't want to transfer out is going to be Pedro Neto, who has a massive run of fixtures for Wolves over the opening 8, and I think at 5.5 million, great value for money as long as he starts. Wolves have actually had a lot of injuries, and in their preseason games seem to be scoring some more goals, but as I always caution, it is preseason. I just hope they can replicate that form in game week 1. But currently Neto is getting a lot of love, definitely a template pick, and I would recommend going for him as the fixtures are there, and hopefully he can put some class on that finishing. Now the last 2 forwards kind of picked themselves in my opinion, and I'm really happy that I managed to afford these 2 assets. The first one's going to be Gabriel Jesus, who's just signed for Arsenal. Now the flexibility of having 2 forwards in my game week 1 squad has kind of grown on me a little bit, and that's why I've gone for Gabriel Jesus over someone like a Saka, just because from an attacking department, I think he gets a lot of goals and assists this season. At 8.0 million, not too shabby from a price point, and that's why I'm fine with going with the Brazilian in my forward line. Now the last forward to go for, as I mentioned in my updated draft video, there's a lot of kind of debate to go on here. Should you go for Haaland? Should you go for Kane? Well, right now I'm actually leaning towards going with Kane game week 1 because I just want to see how Man City play with Haaland up front. But saying this, if Haaland's banging in the goals preseason, I probably will go for him just because I'd rather have him for the long term over a Kane, just because those Spurs fixtures can be a little bit hit or miss. But at least they're coming at the same price point, hopefully no price rises come game week 1, game week 2, that sort of thing, because otherwise you might be priced out of that move. But this is basically going to conclude the big at the back formation. I've basically chosen all the most expensive defenders to go for, but they still provide massive value as I showed with that regression line. Now let me know in the comments down below, are any of you guys actually going for this draft? I've put this draft up, but right now my team is currently a 4-4-2, but I won't lie to you, looking at this team, it looks simply outstanding. What changes would you make as well? There might be 1 or 2 things that you guys vary, maybe downgrading a Robertson and going for an Alisson, going for a Shaw and then upgrading a Bruno. Those are all considerations that you guys can do. Let me know what you're doing in the comments down below. But this is basically the video, guys. Hopefully you did enjoy it. Please don't forget to like if you did and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. Make sure those bell notifications are on for draft week so that you guys don't miss any videos I create from now till that game week 1 deadline. But I'm signing off. It's been Dayvy FPL and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.